Did you hear about Russia launched their satellite that's supposedly, this is what the government's saying, is that it's a satellite weapon to take out other satellites. And they launched it like 3 days ago, and the United Nations are really upset about it.
So wait, Russia's satellite
yeah,
is a
so
weapon
they just
to
launched
take out other satellites.
Yeah.
And is that what we're supposed to be doing with Space Force?
I was going to say,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Is Space Force deployed right now?
Right. Like,
yeah. No, well, that's the point of Space Force, is to protect from threats against our satellites. Exactly. So I don't know what they're doing about it right now, but I'm sure they're doing something.
So Space Force is late.
Yeah.
We should have had Space Force like 5 years ago, because we have no plan whatsoever to
start blasting.
Well, we need our anti-satellite weapon to take out other anti-satellite weapons.
Exactly. And this is Russia or China?
Russia.
Yeah.
Who is probably in cahoots with China, as we know. But I think it's kind of interesting timing, though, because China is developing and about to launch their independent GPS system, because we control all of the global positioning as far as mappings and stuff go in the world.
Really?
Everybody?
Yeah. Even Russia?
Yeah, we control all of that. It's our satellite. So China just announced and is soon to launch their own GPS, so they don't have to rely on our mapping anymore, which I think is really interesting, because if we're taking out if Russia and China are in cahoots and they want to take out a satellite, then if they take out our global positioning system, take down all of our maps and everything like that. Because I mean, GPS isn't just for your cell phone. I mean, it's for the military complexes, for everything.
Right.
So if they were to take out our GPS system, and that put us pretty blind on true positioning and all that stuff, because I know that they have this new, I don't know how new it is, but they have this app, I can't remember exactly what it's called, that the military uses, and it's on like pretty much every Android phone. They don't have it on iPhone anymore, and they just released the consumer version of it, but basically it's a map on your phone that shows all of your troops' positions on it, and then and this is like military standard now. And then it shows your battle plan and where you're moving, and your convoy, or not convoy, but your
so it's like,
rendezvous points and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. It's like a heads-up display almost, but on your phone. So commanders can be like, all right, we're moving here, and this is where you have to go. Or we know that they're here and they're moving from point A to point B, and we know that they're like 3 clicks into it or whatever. And that's all run off GPS, and that's our main. How we tell where our soldiers are, where they're moving, and this is their operating mission. So even stuff like that would be heavily affected by GPS, or even flight patterns or anything like that.
Yeah, I got it here. U.S. Space Command reports that Russia tested a space-based anti-satellite weapon in orbit July 15th, 2020. And then Space Force described the activity as, quote, hypocritical, which I'm not sure what that means. Below critical?
Yeah.
And concerning. So I don't exactly know what that means. So do we have anything that's like this? In other words, does Russia now have like a 5-year lead, and like they knock all our satellites out, and then by the time we develop it, it's too late?
Well, yeah, I think so. And at that point too, not that point, but to that point, they wouldn't need to EMP us at that, because an EMP we can stop with all of our, grounded air missiles or whatever. If they're sending a nuke, because the best way to EMP somebody is to launch a nuke into space or into orbit, and to detonate it in space or low or high orbit or low orbit, however you want to say it. And that would just take out all of the satellites. But we can see missiles coming from miles away. We know we have a ton of systems ever since the 60s to see other countries' missiles, where they're going, when they're being launched. But if you have a satellite in space to take out other satellites, we have no warning system against that, at least that I know of, or anti-satellite killer.
So is it up, or is it just tested?
I think it's up, and they tested it in space. I
see.
Yeah.
That's definitely concerning, because I feel like if they're beating us in technology in space, then they kind of get to control space.
Yeah.
Because they would be the superior power in space.
I completely agree.
So we'd have to, our technology would start you can see why being competing like this is that, a lot of people like when you become behind as a country,
right?
There's a lot more at risk than just your society is going to have less. You're not going to have iPhones as soon as someone comes out with an iPhone. There's that threat, that danger threat of okay, you know, we have someone who can take out all our satellites and control our GPS, and we can't do anything about it. I think that's concerning.
Well, no, it is, but isn't it like
that's hypo?
That's hypocritical. But it's
almost critical.
Yeah, it's just below the skin. Yeah, it's hypo. But I mean, it's like 2 jumps from there to Red Dawn.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah,
because
100%.
Once you take out all of our stuff, we're blind.
Yeah,
we don't. I mean, I don't even know if anybody teaches Morse code anymore, right? I mean, we don't have any. Everything is up there, right?
Well,
even our cloud-based stuff, is that satellite too, or is that land?
That's server-based, okay. But so like the cloud is a big misconception about like what the cloud is, where it is.
But the cloud just so far from this conversation we shouldn't have?
No. I don't think so, because I think the cloud's pretty important. But the cloud is basically a ton of servers, like giant server rooms and server farms that just store all your data, and then like you have like through your phone, say Google Photos or whatever, it's all stored in the cloud. It's all stored on servers that Google owns, and then you have like an access code through the app basically to tap into your data in like its segmented area. That's why they only give you like 10 gigabytes or whatever, and you can pay for more because you have your like 10 gigabyte slot, which is like William Manhire's Google Photos slot.
Is it on different servers, or my 10 gigabytes, or is it all in one?
I think
that one goes down, all my stuff goes down.
I don't know, and I'm sure they have backups of stuff. Yeah, they have redundancies. But I don't see why it would have to be all in one spot, other than like cutting down on like extra complications or anything like that. But yeah, the cloud is pretty much all. I mean, I think virtually all on the Earth. It just wouldn't make any sense to have giant data centers up in space, because a lot of data centers are still on hard drives, and hard disk drives are still a spinning disk. We have solid state drives now, which are diskless, so it's all digital.
Yeah.
But since most of them are disks, they can, like earthquakes can erase disks or make them malfunction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they can damage them. Yeah, right, exactly. Right. So that's why a lot of servers have like these like a roll cage, but it's like
it stabilizes.
Stabilizes and stop the vibrations and stuff like that. Exactly, something like that. Yeah. Just as a buffer to stop like earthquakes and stuff like that. But if it was in space and it got dinged by something or whatever to happen, it'd just be huge. And drives fail all the time. So if you had to constantly be going up into satellites and then coming back down just to repair drives, it'd just be like not necessary at all.
So you got the satellite thing. They take out select satellites. They can take out all of them, I guess, but they can take out select satellites. We can't do anything about it, right? And then not only Red Dawn for the U.S., but we've talked about this before. A lot of prophecies say that communism is going to return to all the countries, right? Sister Lucia said that, and the guy who's interviewed, even the United States, this is 1950, right?
Yeah.
Not the United States. Yeah, no, even the United States, which could come from a couple different ways, right? It can come from the agents of chaos that are out there now, like our internal guys, or it can come externally. Or you could take out the European ones too, right?
Well, yeah.
So you can maintain your own satellite systems and just take out some bad other guys that you don't want, right?
The thing is,
you can sweep in.
America, I mean, China stuff does too, but mostly America, we have the majority of the satellites, like out of anybody. So, like, Europe uses most of our satellites. We can, because they don't have a space program, or at least one to launch satellites. So they might fund some satellites, but as far as like who has direct control and who's launching these satellites, we're the ones that launch it, because we're the only ones with a space program. And the also thing is, a lot of our satellites that we've been launching have been through China or Russia, because for a long time we didn't have. I mean, ever since like the 70s, whenever we stopped launching things into space and NASA started losing its budget, we haven't been launching our satellites from America as much. A lot of them, we use China's team and their cosmonauts to launch our satellites and their ships, just because we didn't put funding into NASA, so there was no need to. And that's why SpaceX is such a big deal, because America's finally doing our own missions now. Like, even all the resupplies and even trips to the International Space Station have pretty much all been through Russia. Like, we send our guys to Russia, they get up in the spaceships and go up to the International Space Station, or they launch our satellites.
It's definitely concerning, because we're not in good relations with those countries.
No, not at all.
It's not like us and the United Nations are coming together and we're using space as an asset.
Right.
We're going through communist countries that are, I wouldn't even say potentially the enemy. I think they really are like a threat to our society and our security.
And we have been doing it for years.
Yeah.